Today, our topic is about quiet time and why that is so essential, sharing some tips on what I've been experiencing the past few weeks and months that I hope will help you be quiet too. Okay, hello, welcome back to Supercharge with Emily, Momentum Monday. It's really wonderful to be back after having been away for quite a few weeks. And now it feels like a couple months actually. It wasn't intentional at first. I've been through a lot of changes, a lot of family changes over the past few weeks, and so it made it necessary to take the time to step away and indeed experience this quiet time. And it's your right. That's our topic today, and I want to really highlight that, share a little bit about my experience, and hopefully it will speak to someone out there who may be going through something similar and can identify with this and understand this process. But first, before we go any further, I want to remind you to please subscribe to the channel at Supercharge Coach on YouTube, at Supercharge Club on Instagram, and at Emily the Entrepreneur also on Instagram. And like, share, comment, engage with the post so that more people can benefit from this. And if you're listening on the podcast, obviously engage with it that way as well with your comments, reviews, and so on. So, on to our topic today of this quiet time. It's your right. And I want to highlight the idea of it being your right. At a time when our rights, a lot of people's rights are being challenged, we might sometimes forget that we actually have the right to peace and quiet. We actually have the right to take the time to do certain things that we may have taken for granted, that normally we would just do them and, um, not think much of it. But we are under such fast change, rapid fire change. And many of you may know that I recently lost my father back in January. And at the age of 104, he lived a good long life. However, it's been quite a challenge going through the transition of not being with him and having him be gone. And I also want to take the time to express my gratitude for a lot of you, many of you who have expressed your condolences. I know I have shared my expression of gratitude in my private Facebook page, but I also want to do it publicly again with my Supercharged community to really let you know how much I appreciate it and how much my family thanks you for having thought of us during this time. And it's been a time definitely to be quiet. I kind of didn't want to be on camera. You can imagine you want to kind of recoil and just be quiet and take that time to reflect on what's essential and important to you. And that's what I've done. And I found that over the time as well, we all need extended periods of time where we don't have to be on social media. And it doesn't have to take a loss of that magnitude for that to happen, where we need to literally get away from public scrutiny, the public gaze, or whatever it is, and just really have that time to reflect and not be subject to any kind of external feedback, if you will. And there's a time and place for that. And so for the past few weeks, that's what I've been undergoing. And I wanted to share with you some of the books that I've been reading that have really helped me through this phase. Also, the fact of just taking time off to slow down. Yes, I've been working. Yes, I've been at certain engagements, been doing different things, but just doing it at a much slower pace. Really not pushing myself in the way that I normally would under normal circumstances, and not feeling guilty about it. Yes, that part, not feeling guilty about it. And when we have these goals and when we have all these things we want to achieve, we tend to get really guilty when we fall off our schedule. Like, I haven't sent out my newsletter, I haven't done my video, I haven't done this, and I haven't done that. Well, there's a time and a place. And I think sometimes We all have fatigue. I think people have newsletter fatigue. They have video fatigue. Maybe they want to break from you as much as you want to break from them. Yes. So, I mean, let's be real here. So we all need a break, and it's important to take the time and acknowledge that. And use that time for your own benefit. And just slowing down, you can accomplish quite a bit by just taking your time to slow down. So let me share a couple of these books, and then I'll highlight a few things that I've been gleaning from them. So of course, the Word of God is number one. This is my Bible, which I've had since, my parents gave me this Bible from I was, say, 8 or 10. Yeah, let's do the math. It's been a while. But this is one of my favorite study Bibles. Yeah, I've had this Bible since I was 10 years old. Yeah, this covered with the thing with all the notes. But I use the Bible app a lot, and I do a lot of digital Bible reading. But there's nothing also quite like paper. And so you have to take time to ground yourself in what you believe to be true. And for me, the Word of God is my stability, my anchor. So that's first and foremost on a daily basis. So I spend time in meditation and prayer in God's Word to establish everything else. Then I read other books that I refer to the Bible as a reference point as I read them. One such book is this one. It's called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. Now, you have heard me talk about this book before. I've mentioned it several times on this podcast, and I have to highlight Raphael Zedeko. Raphael, I'm probably butchering your name one more time. Raphael Z, okay, and I'll put the link to the video where I interviewed him some couple years ago, and I asked him about what book would he recommend, and he recommended this book. A Happy Pocket Full of Money, Infinite Wealth and Abundance in the Here and Now by David Cameron Gikandi. I know the title sounds a little unusual, but it is a really fascinating book on expanding wealth consciousness and the idea that scarcity is a myth, money is an illusion, and that many of the things that we hold on to are not real. So fear isn't even real. We are afraid of things. And when you really peel it back, all we have to do is have faith and trust in God. Really, that's the bottom line. But there's a lot of great insights on this about change being inevitable and how to maneuver through change and the futility of worrying. And right now, when everybody or a lot of people are worrying about the political situations happening and the economic situations, it might sound kind of naive to tell people not to worry. But the reality is that the worrying does not solve anything. So the energy that you put into worry, you want to put into building your business. You want to put into building your dream. You want to put that worry into faith that you can overcome, even though there are temporary challenges in front of you, and realizing that your identity is not your situation. It's temporary as you go through. So this is a very powerful book that I do recommend to a lot of people. Another book that I just got as I was browsing through Barnes & Noble is this big old monster of a book. It's called The War of the Presidents, Lincoln versus Davis by Nigel Hamilton. This is one of those books that might take me the rest of the year to read, right up there with Napoleon. And I thought it was a good time to read some of this historical context. People don't realize that history regularly repeats itself, and you won't know that if you don't know the history. So I thought it was a good time to go back and kind of connect with some of the issues that Lincoln grappled with and Jefferson Davis was fighting for back then, and to really understand the thought process and maybe glean some insights as we can apply them to today and realize that there really is nothing new under the sun. So I encourage people to read. Go read. Don't just listen to the news and let people feed your mind with their opinions. Go and read and compare ideas and come up with your own. That's what quiet time allows you to do. It allows you to think and come up with your own thoughts, not just something that's fed to you, not something that's just imposed upon you through propaganda thinking, but through something that you thought through on your own. by putting together ideas that you have. That's a big part of supercharging. You really take that time to reflect. So here is another book that I just started as well. This book is called Essentialism: The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McHugh. Okay, something of the sort. All right, this is the 10th anniversary edition. I've heard about this book for a long time, but I finally picked it up because it just struck a nerve. The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. That sounded so good. That's a relaxing thought. And this is all about having a priority, not priorities, because you can only have truly one priority. And he talks about that and how to really say no to the right things, yes to the things that really mean something to you, and how to create a system of doing that instead of just living your life overwhelmed, overburdened, and feeling so busy that you can't breathe. It's because you don't know how to say no to the things that don't matter and yes to the things that do. And really, that's what this is about. So I look forward to continuing through this. I think I'm going to get through this pretty quickly because it's very well written and pretty easy to digest. So I encourage you to read. Take that time, quiet your mind. And then once you do read, take the time and process what you've read. How do you apply it to yourself? How will it help your life? How will it make a difference? So as I read these books, as I've been saying, I always try to take the time to see what lessons, what shortcomings am I seeing in myself that may be highlighted in this book that I might have been ignoring, overlooking, not want to deal with, not want to address, and to really put it into focus and then make that decision. So all of this reading is all to help us make decisions. And in the Essentialism book, it talks about decision fatigue, that people are so overwhelmed by choices that they can't choose and they get tired and then they can't really think and they can't really decide. So to kind of minimize the choices, that to make it less of a fatigue and less of a stress, the whole process. And that kind of feeds into the whole supercharged concept in the first place, where we want to focus on our purpose, understand the process that will bring that purpose to life, and then be rewarded for it in the end through a profitable outcome, whether that be financial or the reward of the satisfaction of having done it. You're the one who makes that distinction, but usually if it is a business focus, the goal is to have a financial profit at the end. And everything is connected and linked. And so many times, at this time too, a lot of people are experiencing a certain amount of anxiety, again, over life changes and things are going on. So that's very real, and we can't minimize any of that. But we can take active steps to minimize it. And one of them, we are encouraged to breathe and get fresh air and have exercise and all of this, and to walk and to move and to think or not think. Maybe just relax your mind. Go to bed at a decent time, something I'm still working on very arduously. I'm about half an hour off schedule right now, but I will soon be back on schedule. But take the time to think and don't let anyone rush you, and just really check in with yourself. Does it feel right to me? Does it not? I don't too like this, or this isn't sitting right, or I feel like I'm compromising a value. And ask yourself that. And if the answer is yes, that you feel uncomfortable in any way, then that's a time to get quiet, to get still, and reevaluate and reconnect with what is important to you and what is meaningful to you. That is definitely a must. So let me share some upcoming things with you guys. April 1st, I'm going to be at the Women's Premier Luncheon in Port St. Lucie. I'm going to be doing a presentation, guys. You need to come. And I have my fancy new postcard. It's the Supercharged Club postcard. You see it? They are nice front and center. Yes, that's right. And I'm going to be having these to give to everybody, encouraging them to be a part of the Supercharged Club as we relaunch a new era of the Supercharged Club, and really encouraging people who are thinking about starting a business, have been wanting to start one or just would like to know what it takes, I invite you to check it out at thesuperchargeclub.com, because you can cancel anytime. It's only $7 a month, and it's very easy to join or leave if you want to. And especially now, I really think it's important for people to evaluate their economic options, have multiple streams of income wherever possible, and really take a risk on your future. Do not, and I don't mean it in a wanton way, I mean take a risk in terms of a calculated risk of a dream that you've had, an idea you've been wanting to work on. We're never quite sure where to start or how to go about it, and may need some type of support to bring it to fruition. That is the reason I launched the Supercharge Club, to allow people to have that safe space, that place they can come and not be judged for what they're trying to do, but really explore their opportunities and go after them. So that is definitely an important concept. And I encourage people right now to not despair. Use the time that you have now to really think about your own vision and not feel that you're at the mercy of somebody else's. This is a chance to really put your vision to the test and take advantage of the resources that will allow you to bring it to fruition. Another thing I do with my quiet time before I wrap up today is I try to surround myself not only with positive minded people who have a progressive outlook and progressive mindset. I surround my things with positive affirmations, and you'll see some around me. Yes, you can. Believe. You're well able. I just have it all around me. And I have the supercharge power thoughts that I have available as well, that people can download. And keeping your mind positive, always keeping thoughts that reinforce the narrative that you want to play in your mind, as opposed to just obsessing over maybe what's happening, what you see on the news or what you're hearing, that may usually be more negative than positive. And just rewriting the script in your mind so that you will be able to focus on the right things. Most of the time, I was going to say all of the time, maybe not necessarily all of the time, but most of the time. And know that you don't just have to be a victim of the world. You can take charge in the corner where you are of what you can and do that. And so you feel empowered to take action, as opposed to feeling disempowered by the powers that be, if you will. So I'm here to encourage you, to remind you that you are a powerful being if you're so willing to tap into the energy source that you possess. And when you are brave enough to do so, you'll be amazed at what you will be able to experience. Absolutely. And let's have some applause. Oh, we need some applause for that. We do. And finally, I wanted to share with you, so while going through all these things I've been going through, even though I've been offline, a lot of things have been happening. A lot of good things have been happening as well, I have to say. I'm very thankful. Thank God for that. Most recently, again, just last Friday, I played the national anthem again for the Mets for the 12th time, for the love of the Lord, for the 12th time. And do you realize this a time I was no. I was nervous. I'm never nervous so much on the field, like nervous. I'm not nervous like that. But my nerves were bothering me the entire week. I just don't know why. And I think it was just the idea of I had to come out of a shell. So as I shared with you, I've been offline all these weeks, and I can stay kind of like behind whatever. But that day, I have to come out there and stand in front of a few thousand people. I don't even know how many out there. I think it's like 8,000 people in that stadium. And you come out there and you have to do this solo thing. There's no one playing with you. You're all by yourself, basically, to present. And so it's more of a mental challenge to kind of overcome that, more so than just playing and playing my violin. But so I was going through this whole mental journey of, why are you so nervous about this process that you are so accustomed to? I was prepared. I mean, I know the motions, go through the mechanics, I understand all of that. But it was more deep thing. And what I came to, I'm still kind of processing. It's not 100% clear to me why I was so nervous. But one of the reasons I feel is that we're always having to challenge ourselves. We can't say, well, I did that once and that's it. I don't have to challenge myself again. We always have to, something somewhere has to allow us to grow, almost force us to grow. I mean, no one's forcing me to play the anthem for thousands of people. No one is forcing me to do it. I willingly and gladly do it. However, it's still a decision that I make, and I make it knowing that I'm going to go through this process, or a process that will push me to another place. So what I'm encouraging you to do, whatever it may be, doesn't have to be as grandiose as playing for 8,000 odd people, but something that maybe scares you a little bit and puts you a little bit, makes you be a bit challenged. And once you do it, you feel like, I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for a bigger one. I'm ready for a bigger challenge. And you feel more emboldened and empowered that you can overcome things. And it's a mental exercise, kind of like jumping into a cold bucket of water or into a cold swimming pool, that you can overcome it. It might be uncomfortable for a few minutes, but it will soon get better. So I want to remind you that we all have that capability to do something we're a little nervous about, but eventually once we do it, we realize that that has just given us that quantum leap necessary to overcome that next bigger thing that's waiting for you, that you might have been avoiding or putting off because of whatever fear is in your mind. So that's what I want to say to you today regarding quiet time. It's your right. It's your right to take the time for yourself. Oh my Lord. It is your right to do that. And your sanity requires it, okay? Take the time to just be at peace with yourself. Let me know how you spend quiet time, meditation, breathing exercises. What do you do to kind of refresh your mind and to calm things down? And again, go check out this book. I think this is going to help a lot. Essentialism, absolutely. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you next time. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter. If you haven't already, get your free gift, emilymchugh.com/free gift. That's how you get on my newsletter. And where I'll share my supercharged thoughts, share all these thoughts for us to think about and to keep us supercharged. Okay, so until next time, thanks for being with me and stay supercharged. Bye bye.